How's it going, everybody? Tom Cormier here again from San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. I almost said Managua, where I'm here on vacation for the next vacation grind camp with Mark Augustine for the next 4 days. And this is me re-recording the second video I messed up the last time I made it. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 biggest questions I've gotten so far about my manual dropshipping store, addressing them so hopefully, whoever has these questions, the answers get answered, and a lot more people, I'm sure, are asking these questions and just haven't typed them anywhere. So, like I said, I've been doing this manual dropshipping for about almost 2 months now. My store is around it's about to hit 30,000 in sales, and I'm really happy with the results. I know that there's ways that I could be making more sales that I just haven't really gotten around to yet, or just haven't really worked on. But when I get back and I really sit down, start hammering away at it, I do expect to hit 50,000 by, let's say, the end of March. And that being said, I am still doing Amazon dropshipping, and that is going extremely well at the moment, better than I really expected. I just hit 71,000 in sales in the last 30 days, so I will put up more content on that if you guys want. So make sure to comment below if you guys want me to post more Amazon dropshipping related content, because I am focusing mainly on the moment at manual dropshipping and working on another thing in the works with China related eBay suppliers, AliExpress, Banggood, other stuff like that. That's farther down the line. So like I said, leave comments on what other content you want to see from me, and without further ado, I am going to splice into the second part of the video that I did on the top 5 questions that I've gotten about manual dropshipping stores since I've started. I'll see you in there. You guys, and here are the top 5 questions I have. I left this thing up on my face again, but we're gonna roll with it. So, all right, I took it off. So here we are with my screen, and these are the 5 questions from manual dropshipping stores. So number 1, I'm just gonna go through them and I'm gonna answer them as I go. Number 1 is, what exactly is a manual store compared to other dropshipping related stores? So back in the last probably 2 years, manual stores kind of started falling off from what I've been seeing. I've only been in eBay dropshipping for about 1.5 years, but it seems that over the last 2 years, automated softwares have really become very big. They'll take everything, they'll connect to the eBay API. Everybody says API, not everybody knows what it really means. It stands for Application Programming Interface, and basically it's eBay allowing other softwares to basically connect into eBay, code in their language, and do things and manipulate the data that eBay will give them. So what can you do with that? You can reprice items, you can auto order items, you can do a lot of things with it. But eBay has clearly put in their terms of service that you are not allowed to reprice your items with the API, and you're not allowed, I'm pretty sure, to use tracking and I think auto ordering, updating as well with the API. So you can understand why these softwares are kind of pissing eBay off, but I don't think that this is the number 1 issue. There's also other issues out there that I'm not going to really get into. But what is a manual store? My manual store, personally, other people might have a different definition of what a manual store is, but mine personally is not connected to any API whatsoever. I'm using almost no software, and the software that I am using does not connect directly into eBay through their API. So that's what I say a manual store is. Other people might have different definitions, but that's my definition at the moment. I'm using just about no software, and the software that I am using is not connected to the API. So that's the answer to number 1. If you guys have any other questions based off that, or any questions that spur off that question, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be glad to answer them. So number 2 is, how do you reprice your items? Everybody's been asking, if you have a manual store and you have no software connected to it, how do you reprice your items? And the answer to that question is SKU Grid. So I could not for the life of me find the page that I usually look at for SKU Grid to compare. Yeah, I couldn't find it. So I use this little application right here. I'm going to go to a picture of me for a second. You get to look at my beautiful face while I delete some of my information here. Here we are, and I'm going to go back to my screen and video, and you can see this is SKU Grid's remote key just manual store kind of uploading thing for you. So eBay has this thing called the file exchange, and you're actually 100% allowed to use the file exchange. The file exchange is where you can upload a CSV file, which stands for comma separated values. It's a form of Excel sheet, and you can upload your stock, your inventory, and other things like that. So say you have a contract with a real wholesale dropshipping supplier. They might give you their inventory every maybe 3 hours, their live inventory feed, and you can upload that into eBay every couple hours, And there's other things about it. There's some math that has to go into it, and I don't really want to get in depth into that. But what SKUGrid is doing is it's basically scraping all of my items that I put into SKUGrid. It's checking them for price changes and stock changes in and out of stocks. From there, it's sending, it sends you or pulls a file exchange request for your orders. It can do that as well, but it also just basically will take that, your inventory, put it into file exchange format, exactly how eBay wants it, and through this Chrome extension, you can set up the time variables. It checks SKUGrid every hour. It will upload to eBay for me every 3 hours. It will upload to SKUGrid every 60 minutes. Those are the different changes and stuff like that, and that's how you get your orders. And if it, say you have a default quantity of 2 and somebody ordered 1, and it goes through and checked every 60 minutes, then it'll re-upload it, and it'll give you the extra stock back, so it restocks items for you and uploads sales to SKUGrid. I haven't really been using the sales or orders function of SKUGrid yet, but I do plan on getting into that. So it literally does this all for you. All you have to do is connect to your remote key from SKUGrid, and then your email of your eBay account. So that's what I kind of just deleted. And basically, I reprice supposedly every 3 hours, but I don't even reprice while I'm sleeping. You have to have your eBay account open while you're doing this, and you need to make sure that everything's going. So I don't reprice when I'm sleeping, but how many people really order overnight, considering I only sell to the continental 48 United States? I do not do the global shipping program. If you guys have questions about why, I'll answer in the comments, but I don't really feel like that's the scope of this video. And basically, this Chrome extension reprices all of my items for me and does not connect to the eBay API. It goes strictly through the file exchange, which has been around for a while and is used for way more purposes than just dropshipping. So that's my long answer to that. Sorry I couldn't find the page, but it basically explains that there's 4 ways that SKUGrid will reprice your items. One is literally just a manual file exchange. It will give you the file exchange file, and you can upload it yourself manually. 2 is it takes that file exchange file and does it for you through this Chrome extension. 3 is you make a WooCommerce store, which I don't really know how. I've done it. I don't understand it. That then WooCommerce then connects to the eBay API, and they reprice your items on WooCommerce, which will then reprice your items on eBay. That's one of the ones up in the air. I don't really recommend it. Lastly, there's something through eCom Syndicator, which is like direct API connection into eBay, and I've set that one up once, and my account ended up getting flagged. So but I was using Walmart as a supplier. I don't know, no obscure suppliers, but I don't really want to get into it. So that's how I reprice my items. Long story short. Number 3, is this a new store? Yes, this is a brand new store. I'm going to show you guys literally. These are my sales for the last 31 days, but as you can tell, these are the impressions. I started off January 1st, nothing. 2nd, nothing. 3rd, nothing. 4th, nothing. 5th, nothing. 6th is when I started listing, 20 impressions, 25. You can tell over time I've gradually 100% increased. There's no decreasing here going on, except for when I think I was at like 5% just to get some sales, and I dropped it to 3. And then I'm here, then I dropped it to like 2 point something, and now I'm here. So I'm floating around 2 point something, 3% promoted listing fees, 10% front end margin, and a lot of these websites do end up having some decent cash back on the back end, so it is pretty helpful. As you can tell, I started off brand new, and a lot of people will be like, oh, well, this kind of ties in with question 5, I believe. So 3 and 5 are kind of similar. So yes, it is a brand new store. And 5 is it connected to the same PayPal? So a lot of people will think that if you make a new store and you already have flagged accounts connected to that PayPal, and you connect that new store to the same PayPal, that they'll be like, oh, well, he dropship on these accounts, he must be dropshipping on this new account too. And that does make sense to think that way, but from everything that me and my business partner Jason have realized, it's pretty much that they treat every new store, as innocent until proven guilty type thing. So as long as you don't fuck up on that store, or you don't get flagged in any way, shape, or form, then that store should be good. And this is connected to the same exact PayPal as my other 3 huge dropshipping stores that I had that all got flagged, and it's going fine. I'm actually gonna add another question onto there just because of the fact that 3 and 5 are pretty much one question. So yes, it's a brand new store. Yes, it's connected to the same PayPal. I get that question probably every day, at least once. I'm going to make up another question right now, and that question is, what do you tell customer support when you go in to when you call to get your limits raised. So if you look over here at my sales, if I scroll down, well, I don't want to scroll down because I'm going to have to end up editing it. But I showed it in another video that I'm at like 150,000 in item listings, and I think I have availability to do 1,500 items and 150,000 in dollars. What do you call in and say to them in order to get the limits raised now that dropshipping is not allowed? The answer is simple. You pretty much lie to them. They're going to ask you. I've seen this happen two different ways, and I've never gotten the second way. So one way, they're going to ask you like, where are you getting your items from? And I just say wholesale suppliers and wholesale distributors, and I've never gotten questioned up further than that. So that's the easy way out. All you just say is wholesale suppliers, wholesale distributors, and they go, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, awesome. Then they give you a limit raise. Secondly, this has happened to my business partner Jason, and I've heard this happen to other people as well, is they'll ask, where are you getting your items? You say wholesale suppliers, and they go, which ones? And then you're like, oh fuck, you shit a brick. You're like, you freeze up, you don't know what's going on. No, I mean, just lie, or just tell them the truth. Just like, hey, I have some contracts with these suppliers here, but don't tell them that any of the retail suppliers. Tell them like, hey, actually look up, be ready when you're on the phone call. Be ready, be semi-prepared. If they ask you, what suppliers, be ready and have at least 2 or 3 that are actual wholesale suppliers that, they're going to look up and see if they're real wholesale suppliers, but I highly doubt they're going to look up, see if they're real wholesale suppliers, and then check if their inventory is the same as your inventory and, make sure that you're not just listing other items from other places. I'm fairly positive they're just going to check and make sure that's a real wholesale supplier. I know Jason had to go through this, and he said a different wholesale supplier than what he was actually using. So that's pretty much it. That's a bonus question. So 6 questions will be answered here, and there you go. I'm always for the people. And the last question really is probably the number one concern that's going on now. I don't know why I didn't make that number 5, but it is, what about item location? This is probably, I said that I get asked if I use the same PayPal once a day. I get asked the item location question probably 3 times a day, blowing up my inbox, and it's the same answer every single time. I literally just use multiple locations. I'm not manipulating the tracking whatsoever. I'm not manipulating anything at the moment. I'm just putting in the regular tracking. I have almost 95% tracking uploading on time. I'm at 94.81, so I'm pretty damn close to top rated on my own without manipulating anything, and my item location just says multiple locations. If you want to go out there and find if that retail supplier that you're using only ships from one location, then put that in there for all of those items. By all means, go and do that. But right now, I'm only putting multiple locations on my items, and everything's been fine. I really do think that it's 100% an algorithm that's coming and flagging you guys. And algorithms, like Nahar was saying in the live that I did with him last Wednesday, that it's pretty much just a brain that is a computer that's, picking you out because you've hit a certain amount of criteria. So maybe they weigh certain criteria more than others, but, some might be item location, API connection, description compared to other, if your description's just completely the same from Amazon onto eBay, that's another thing. There's a bunch of different categories from what I'm guessing, and, each one holds a certain amount of weight, and if you hit a certain amount in each little category, then, then you're going to get flagged. But, if I'm not connected to any API, and I'm making my own descriptions, and I'm making my own titles, and I'm copying and pasting my own images in there, and everything like that, and all I'm doing that is kind of breaking the dropshipping related rule is the item location policy, then so far from what I've seen, I have not, tripped the algorithm into, flagging me as a dropshipper yet. So right now, I'm only using multiple locations, and I'm really just uploading the tracking from wherever it's coming from. So like I said, this is why I love the manual dropshipping method at the moment. It's so much cheaper. It's so much easier. There's way less software. There's way less things that are going to mess up. There's a lot less things for your VA to worry about. I mean, all you really need to do is teach your VA how to order from all these different suppliers that you're doing and how to manage things. But other than that, it's manual listing. It's manual everything minus, the repricing is pretty automated, let's be honest here. Just because it's SKU grid going through this Chrome extension doesn't mean that it's extremely automated, because it is. And another thing is you don't have to reprice these items every hour like you do for Amazon, because Amazon changes fucking prices more than women change clothes sometimes, or that might be sexist. But, it changes prices all the time. Some of these other suppliers don't change prices at all. Like, I had some items up there that didn't change. I wasn't even connected to SKUGrid for the first week or a week and a half, I don't think. Like, I just didn't change my prices. I didn't know. But, I mean, I only sold, I think, one item at a loss or something at that point. And, you know, it's pretty easy to cancel, so don't worry about it. I mean, manual dropshipping is definitely an easier way to start. I mean, it's harder to get everything connected with SKUGrid, but it's easy to get started, to start listing items and whatnot, and just, you know, hope that they don't change in price, and then eventually start connecting SKUGrid and making it more official as you go. Another cool thing is that if you don't have like tax IDs and stuff like that, and you're not tax exempt, although I am getting tax exempt on pretty much all of my suppliers, you know, you do have to go through a little bit extra hoops to do so, but I mean, I am getting tax exempt on the majority of them, but if you don't want to, or if you don't have any tax ID, maybe you're international or something, you are going to be getting higher profit margins from the get-go, so that you will probably be able to mitigate the tax issue, and you can probably price your items higher. So, I mean, that's me answering the top 5 manual dropshipping store questions. I'm going to end up putting out a PDF on the top 10 manual dropshipping store questions, you know, answer them more in depth, and, you know, me and Jason will be putting that out within the next couple weeks or so. And, you know, that's going to be completely free for you guys. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure that you guys subscribe so that you can see all these new updates. I'm only talking manual dropshipping stores and eBay and Amazon dropshipping at the moment. Jason is covering wholesale dropshipping. His channel is going to be down in the description if you guys want to check that out. And if you guys made it this far, I mean, you guys are obviously interested in what I'm doing and intrigued. So if you guys want to see, I do have an actual video updater, so every time I upload a new video, you will get a nice little Facebook message. Won't be too intrusive on you guys. You know, it just comes in your inbox, tells you that, hey, I just uploaded a new video. So you will get alerted every single time so that you can stay up to date. So that link's in the description. All you have to do is just click it. And like I said, if you've made it this far, please subscribe. Please hit the bell notification, which is another notification, you know, that you'll get when I do upload a new video. And just stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot of new earth-breaking, groundbreaking, I guess, content coming out that not a lot of people are talking about, that I'm excited to share with you guys. And I really do think that this method right now is the way to go, and this is the method that will get you guys a lot of success in the beginning and for as long as this can go on for, because, you know, with all the software and stuff out there, a lot of people had a hard time learning it, and the margins were a lot lower, and there was so much more competition out there. But I can tell you that some of these items that I'm selling out here only have like 4 or 5 people on the listing. So, I mean, there's not much competition. You just need to go out there, put in a little bit extra work, and diversify yourself from the rest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you guys very much for watching and staying this long in it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.